Longer term, over the next couple months into year end, I'd be worried that by year end it starts breaking lower again.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Daily Crypto. We are back with another Gareth Soloway video for you guys, so make sure to watch the full video because he has some interesting perspective on where he thinks Bitcoin is going in the future. But before we get started, let's take a look at the Fear and Greed Index for today. As of recording this video, it is sitting at 23, slightly better than yesterday's 22. Currently Bitcoin and Ethereum are trading for 19,190 and 1,298 respectively. With that being said, let's get started with the video.
I don't think the markets have bottomed yet. The equity markets certainly have not. I think Bitcoin and crypto is closer to bottoming than the stock market, mainly because I think you have that goldish type safety play that eventually Bitcoin will turn into, right? So as the macro gets worse and worse and, people get scared of being in, stocks and the economy, the idea of turning towards a Bitcoin definitely makes a lot of sense. We're not there yet, so I want people to understand that. But at some point, 12, 13,000, wherever it may be, I do think Bitcoin bottoms out and then starts to grind up. The macro is going to be a tricky thing. I really think we're in for a long period recession, mainly because the Fed can't bail us out. If we look at the past 10, 20 years, every recession or every market dip like the COVID collapse, the Fed was just printing money. Well, that was great when we have 2% inflation or less, but now we have 8%. And even if it drops to 4%, how does the Fed print us out of a recession at 4%, which would cause inflation to potentially spike to 20%. So it's going to be one of these longer periods, which I think is a great opportunity for crypto overall, because you're going to see these new technologies, these other ways to kind of figure things out coming to the forefront. So I would say just prepare. People should prepare for still some more volatility, maybe another next leg lower in Bitcoin, but the buying opportunity is coming.
Gareth Soloway believes we are yet to see a bottom in the equity markets, and we are nowhere near it as of now. However, he thinks that Bitcoin is close to bottoming out because it is exhibiting a lot of strength, which could be signaling that the bottom is near. He still has a price target of 12 to 13K Bitcoin, which is why he hasn't created a full post ion yet.
Number one, we need to see more maturity in the crypto sector. So we look at an asset like Bitcoin that's only 13 years old, right? So it's very young in the scheme of like the stock market. I mean, if you even looking at just Apple's been around since the 80s. So it's 40 plus year old company. So I think you need to see that. I also think you have to see regulation. I know everyone loves the decentralization aspect, but at the same time, if you're going to actually turn Bitcoin and other cryptos into like a safety haven, then you need to know the rules. I need to know the rules, right? So I'm allocating some of my capital towards crypto, but at the same time, there's no way I'm putting like a few $1 million in crypto because I don't know what the heck the government's going to do, right? And I don't want to be caught with my pants down, if you will, in that scenario where they come out with strict rules and Bitcoin dumps out by 80%. I don't think that's going to happen, but the point is that you have fiduciary responsibilities from a hedge fund perspective, pension funds, and that's the money we need to attract to crypto. You get pension funds alone to buy in like 2% of their pension fund into Bitcoin, and you're at like 300,000 overnight, right?
Oh yeah.
So the only way that's going to happen is if we get the rules. Like, just give us the freaking rules already. Don't drag this out, because honestly, that's what's hurting crypto right now, is that we just don't know what rules we have to play by.
Once the recession hits, people will eventually realize that there is no other way than Bitcoin to protect their wealth from inflation, due to which we might see more capital inflow. But even more important than that is regulation. Gareth points out that there are a lot of big players who are not entering the markets because there is no regulatory framework in place. As soon as we have proper regulations, we will see more institutional adoption, ultimately benefiting the crypto space.
The first thing is, right, so as soon as I think the SEC will approve the ETF for spot, as soon as they lay out the groundwork. They probably won't do it ahead of time because, like, imagine if they allow the ETF to come to market, you get a bunch of investors in there, and then they throw a curveball of like regulation that we didn't expect, and then everyone who just invested loses like 80% of their money or something like that. So I think they'll wait for that regulation first. And then as soon as that's in place, as soon as they kind of announce it, I think within probably like 3 to 6 months, you'll see an approved spot spot ETF. So I think that's exciting. That's going to give investors in stocks, like people that don't have crypto accounts, which, let's be fair, there's still a massive amount of people that don't invest in any crypto.
Yeah.
That's going to give them an avenue of comfort to invest. And you'll probably see like I've even envisioned a gold Bitcoin ETF, like where it kind of like there's a allocation into gold. And so, I mean, it could almost draw you into this dual safety haven, right? So you think it's the digital gold, but then you have the actual gold, and it could be kind of a cool idea too. Though there's so many opportunities out there once that spot ETF is approved.
With there being many spot Bitcoin ETFs being proposed, it is only a matter of time before the SEC approves them. This will be a major win for the entire crypto space, as it will give those investors confidence who don't have any crypto accounts and have zero exposure to cryptocurrencies. This will take Bitcoin adoption to new highs, and the positivity will be reflected in Bitcoin's price 3 to 6 months after a spot ETF is approved.
There's a level I'm watching for a potential near-term breakout. Now, let's not fool ourselves. The bigger pattern is still bearish. So you have the big drop and the same kind of thing as Chainlink going on. But look at this trend line from this pivot to this pivot high to this pivot high right down. And look at how Bitcoin's trying to break out. If it can break above this, I think you get a short-term short squeeze where this could at least see 22.5, maybe even 25,000. So again, that's kind of how I'm favoring. I think there's a lot of bearishness because of how dead Bitcoin has been, and I think you might get some sort of breakout here in the near term. I don't think it's a long-term breakout. I still think the longer term, you're still stuck inside of this longer-term range, which is bearish. But it doesn't mean as a trader I can't make money in the near term on the long side if we get a breakout. So short term would be neutral to bullish, I would say. Longer term, over the next couple months into year end, I'd be worried that by year end it starts breaking lower again.
Bitcoin has been in an accumulation phase for a while now, but it is testing the upper trend line and is trying to break above. If it manages to do so, we could potentially see 23-25k Bitcoin. However, Gareth believes it will be just a short squeeze, and we will see it start to break down very soon.
You're basically in what we would refer to as a wedge pattern, right? So you have this line here sloping down, then this one connecting the recent lows, and you're hovering right on support. So for me, it's one of those scenarios where, kind of like a couple of the other ones we looked at, is that as long as it holds this line, you look to attack this area here, and if it can break out, then you start heading up to the next resistance, which is a line from the all-time high on ETH down to this secondary high, which looks to me to be around 1750 or so up here. So to me, there's no definitive like this is going to bust out here. Since I'm bullish on Bitcoin, I would say that I'm slightly bullish on ETH as well, just because they tend to move together. But really what we need to see is this line broken here, which would be your short-term resistance, and then you can get that pop to, basically 1750 or so.
Since Bitcoin and Ethereum tend to have a similar price action, Gareth is also bullish on Ethereum in the short term, as it is sitting at an important support level. If it manages to hold it successfully, we could easily see it climb all the way up to 1750 and retest a more stronger trend line, which is valid since the previous all-time highs. Thank you for watching this video. Please drop a like and subscribe to our channel so you can keep watching informational videos like this on a daily basis. See you guys in the next video.